There are three success variables that are always the same. Always. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and we inspire. And the first two that we've gone over, and if you've not seen them, I invite you to go back and look at them. The first one is to find a community that you can belong to that will actually somewhat take over your life, where you go from one element to another element, and this becomes a key feature. All right, a key feature. For me, it was getting a workout partner, and these are laws. Okay, these are not maybes. These are laws, because when you do these things, whether you do them consciously or unconsciously, they will work for you. The second one is to understand the rules of the game that you're playing, and understand them so well that to be the super achiever, you know exactly when to break those rules. All right, and a good example of that, as an example in football, would be Coach Belichick from the New England Patriots, who knows the rules backwards and forwards and knows how to just kind of meander right at the edge to give his team an advantage. And we've seen that happen many, many times. Now today we're going to talk about practicing the mentality. The people who are true masters of their craft do not see their craft as outside of them. And I must give a shout out, by the way, to Nicholas Cole, who wrote an article and from whom I'm quoting some of these things. So I just want to make sure I give a shout out to him because of an outstanding article that took 3 minutes to read, and I got 3 videos out of it. So I just want to tell you how excited I was about reading this article. It's not something that people do sometimes. It's something that people do all the time, because it becomes part of who you are. My main mentor, Bob Anderson, once said to me, he said, this business is not a part of my life. This business is my life. And I wasn't young at that time. I mean, I was, in late 20s maybe. And when he said that to me, I'm thinking to myself, boy, that's kind of shallow. I mean, what about your wife? What about your family? What about, outside interests? But you know what? The more I thought about it, the more it made sense to me, because when it becomes your life, there's a certain passion involved, and he was able to break things down, what he always referred to as, Eli's dad, there's 3 parts to the balance sheet. There's the personal side, there's the spiritual side, and there's the business side. And of course, the spiritual side is your relationship with the infinite being. If you have one or not, that's up to you, of course. The personal side is, your spouse, your family, your children, and then of course there's the business side. Now, when he divided those 3 elements up into his life, there was the personal side, there was the spiritual side, and there was the business side. So you know which one took number 1 in his mind. And I'll tell you, and he was lucky enough and smart enough to get a partner for himself, his wife Betty Jean, who understood how he felt and gave him complete support. She was still her own person, but she gave Bob complete support in what he did. And how do I know this? Because after doing something for the company, and he invited me to move in with them in Florida where he lived. So there I am living in his house for about 2 months with Bob and Betty Jean Anderson. And if you're somebody's spouse, you have somebody living in the house. I mean, you're giving up a little privacy here, aren't you? I mean, I was working from sunlight to midnight, so it wasn't like I was hanging around their house. On one day a week, maybe, one day a week. Maybe we would do something, the three of us together, all right? But the rest of the time, I'm working. But still, having somebody that you've never even met come into your house and live in your house. So Benny Jean understood Bob Anderson's mindset, what made him tick, and he was very successful. It was a beautiful house, beautiful swimming pool. I mean, it was terrific. But understand, being really good at what you do means integrating your craft into your daily life in as many ways as possible. It's not an item on your checklist. It's a daily habit as simple as brushing your teeth in the morning. And until you get to this point of what you desire becoming a foundational pillar in your life, you're never going to reach the highest levels of success. Does that make sense? It cannot be separate. It has to be part of the big picture. Now, if you look at any great innovator, athlete, musician, entrepreneur, politician, doctor, they have one thing in common. They found their community. They understood the rules of the game, and that put them in a position to break them. And they integrated what they do so deeply into their lives that hours of practice weren't even considered practice. When I would read books on sales, on management, on unifying people together, that wasn't a chore. That was a labor of love. You simply couldn't have lived without it. So combining these three root habits will help you reach the level of success. Find the community, understand the rules of the game, and make your endeavor so passionate that you feel it's not just a part of your life, it is your life. In that section, the business section, the personal section, or the spiritual section. And because we will never end a meeting on a philosophical note, once again, major shout out to Nicholas Cole, tremendous article. Because we never end a meeting on a philosophical note, let's all get out there and charge! I'm Eli's dad.